We may not always be able to change our circumstances, but we can always change our perspective of those circumstances. Good evening, guys, and welcome back to another video. I thought I'd do something a little bit different today, as the 23rd of March marks 1 year on from Boris Johnson's address taking the UK into a national lockdown in response to the threat of coronavirus and its spread. And 1 year ago today, in response to that, directly, I picked up my phone and started recording an Instagram story, splurting off loads of thoughts about how we can use this opportunity to better ourselves and how positive it was, despite all of the negativity surrounding it. And I thought I'd do a video on this, addressing why I came to those thoughts, how I was able to transform those words into actuality over the course of the next few months, and just generally the past year and what I've been up to. So I'll take you back to the evening of the 23rd of March. Boris Johnson says, 2 weeks to flatten the curve, time to lock down everybody. And whilst a lot of people went into absolute meltdown because all of their plans were cancelled and they couldn't go clubbing, they couldn't go and see their family members, they might have lost their jobs, furlough wasn't a thing back then, what on earth is going to happen? Whilst all of those things were going on, and I was very sensitive to people who were going through those things, and I wasn't sure of my job at the time, although later I was working in a bike shop and I actually became really busy over the course of lockdown, which is quite fortunate. But it's interesting looking back at the video, seeing my initial reaction of basically just like, bam, straight into focusing on the positives, straight into focusing on what I can control. And it's that mindset which I think has helped me in so many situations in my life where I could have been completely set back and completely demoralised. So as we move through April, May and June, I used the time wisely to absolutely get as many big base miles as I possibly could, whilst staying on my own and whilst keeping it relatively local. And yes, I was disappointed, as I was said. I had my own plans myself. I wanted to go abroad on a lad's holiday. I wanted to go to a couple of festivals. I wanted to socialise and go clubbing and go to pubs and spend time with family. Of course I wanted to do all of those things. But as soon as the government told me I couldn't, as much as there were initial fleeting thoughts of sadness and despair, I immediately shift my focus onto what was within my control and what I could influence and see progression in through my own actions. And thankfully, and I think it's no coincidence, but I have my exercise and trying to be in the pursuit of being an athlete as part of my dynamic of my life. It's quite a big part of my personality, obviously. I mean, I'm doing a whole vlog on it, for crying out loud. I was able to use that and see real progression over the course of many weeks and months and use all that free time. And you know what? I'm reaping the rewards from that all these months down the line, because I was just building the base, building the tolerance, training consistently, getting the discipline in. I'm so pleased with the progress I've made. But last May, for the NHS 5K, I ran a flat out 5K as fast as I possibly could. And it was negative elevation, which is pretty much cheating. And I ran an 18:53 5K. And I was completely chuffed because I was going for sub 20. I had no idea what my fitness level was. And to look back at the year's training now, and I haven't even been doing that much running, but just a lot of volume on the bike and structure, and using the time wisely that I would have been potentially socialising, and especially at university, I've had the best winter of training I've ever had. And here I am, hopefully taking over a minute off that time, based on last week's 2-mile run. I say this with the greatest respect of those that have lost loved ones or those that have been personally affected economically through this, but lockdown and the past year has been undoubtedly the best year of my life. And it's funny because for the past 5 years, I've always thought to myself, the past year has been the best year of my life. And I don't think that's a coincidence either. I don't think they're actually objectively potentially the best years, but I always see them as the best years. Your whole life and how you view yourself and how you view circumstances and then how you interact with those circumstances is all through your mental framework and your perception. It's nothing to do with the events really, because two people can look at the exact same thing and have vastly different emotional responses to it. I'll look at negative things and the only things I'll take out of them is positives. I will sit in the negative and embrace it and see it pass. Don't get me wrong, I'm not immune to it, and I have my down days and I've experienced anger and sadness and despair. I feel all those things, but I don't allow myself to get bogged down by that, because I take a step back, I look at the broader picture and I go, well, that might be that, but there's some positives to take from it, and that's what I've done with the lockdown. I was able to really make the most of COVID and really make the most of the situation, a terrible situation at that. And it's very empowering to look back and go, I put into practice what the theory was. I don't just spout it. I don't just speak this. I live it. Through living this abstract, wishy-washy stoicism, I'm realising how true it is. And I think what I really want is for other people to experience it as well. And that's why I come on here and share it, because it's so empowering to just to know that whatever comes at you, you can always flip it on its head and head in the right direction. And however long that takes is obviously dependent on the severity of the situation. But I'm now at the point in my life where I seriously believe any kind of setback, any kind of tragedy, any kind of failure, however emotionally destructive it is, however severe or painful it is, I will sit in that, I will accept it, I will go through the emotions, I will allow myself to experience that, and I will very quickly ensure that I make the most of the situation and run headfirst towards a positive trajectory from it and because of it. And every single time I've done that in my life, lockdown as a prime example, I have then looked back and seen the benefits. And you can't see yourself as a victim. I think it's partly to do with the entitled righteous generation that I find myself present in. There's not enough grounding in gratitude at the fact that it's first world problems. You know, I've got water here, I've got a roof over my head, and I've got food. And at the end of the day, I've got my bike. But even without a bike, everyone's got shoes, and everyone can walk or run. Or when I started running, crying out loud, I'd literally walk 5 minutes, run 5 minutes, and be absolutely knackered. And that was a year ago. That was 14 months ago. You've got to start somewhere, and you've got to start today. It's never tomorrow, it's always today. Anyway, I'm not going to ramble on, but yeah, I thought it was quite poignant to reflect on this. I don't know what video I've ended up posting. It probably would have been better with a script, but you know me, just rant off the top of my head. These kind of videos hopefully will get refined over time, because I have a lot more ideas for this style of video that I'm really passionate about, really want to share. For those of you who are still somehow watching and watch the vlogs more or less every day, today's training was just a steady 45-minute jog over the mount with Messi? Yeah, Lionel, yeah, he just came to Saragini. Nessie. And then this afternoon I just went on a 2-hour ride with Adam. Averaged like 31k an hour, I think, and it was like 190 watts, like pretty good conditions, to be honest. But yeah, just a chill ride. It's a rest week after all, so I'm just absorbing those gains. Probably pick up the camera again as usual tomorrow. The GoPro has been inevitably delayed, so who knows when that will arrive, but I'll keep you posted as to when it does. Anyway guys, that'll be the end of another video. I'm on about 16 minutes on recording, so I hope that the video does not end up being anywhere near that long. I hope that you're able to use this video and you take from it the positive aspects of it and sort of try and apply it to your life. Whenever there's any situation, just remember to take a step back, realise the bigger picture, and know that you're in control of your reaction to it, and to focus as hard as you can on not becoming a victim and to taking responsibility and aiming that ship in a positive direction. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Zach, and I'll see you tomorrow.